everybody. All right, so we are wrapping up a lot of the stuff that needs to be made for the ATC project. So what I've already machined one item. This is the plate that mounts to the linear rail plate. So that's what these sliding sockets are for. This is to give across the x-axis to allow it to adjust in and out on the x-axis. So this plate mounts to this as such, and then it has a swivel bolt on the back side, and then there's threads on this aluminum plate to allow for adjustment of the x-axis this way. And this would be steel, and then this is getting welded. So what I'm going to do, I happen to have a whole bunch of 2.5-inch square tubing left over from a project, and what I've taken and cut 3-inch pieces of angle iron, and those are going to get, I'm going to clamp these in position inside the tube, so it's basically a slide. So I'm basically making a box pattern, and then I'll machine some adjustment slots in the actual square tubing, and that will allow me to adjust the ATC in the Y direction in and out. So most of the adjustments will be able to be completed right at the ATC itself. So what I have to do, like I said, this has been machined in steel already, so I have to set it so I can weld these plates onto here, and then, like I said, machine into the 2.5-inch tubing, and then drill and tap holes to allow for the adjustment on that. So we're going to get this all situated and then get it welded, and then I'll come back and show you what we've done. All right, so you can see what we got going on here. I took the tube and put it in the mill and drew up a slotting, or did a slot on all 4 sides so that I could put a screw in. I have the 2-inch angle mounted in place. So now this one's already been tightened, so it's been set. I used it to gauge the next one. So these slide in and out. So what I'll do now is weld those 2 pieces of angle to this, and that'll give me my y-axis adjustability. So, and I recessed this pocket in here. So for those of you who use my files, this was recessed so that I could kind of split the difference when I welded it. I don't plan on welding around where these pockets or these holes are for adjustability, so it's just going to be lightly welded on these sections here. So we'll get this welded up. All right, here it is. We have it all welded. You know, note, I'm not a professional welder. I can make a weld stick. So threw this up on the MIG. Probably should have did the TIG, and then I could have got a little bit cleaner. But there's plenty of adjustability there. Henceforth, the reason I did it with a MIG. So as I noted before, I didn't want to be in the way of the washer and the screw that goes on there. So I only tacked at the corner, because this is, you know, like I said, some angle iron. So anyways, this is all done, so I can clean it up a little bit, take this part out. I did put some masking tape on the underside, so when I tightened it up, it gave me a light clearance, because these parts are going to get powder coated once the mount is completely built. So this is all done. We can get it all cleaned up, and this flange part will be ready for powder coat. All right, we have a majority of the bracket made. I got the other 2 segments welded on, so it came out pretty good. I used the actual square tubing, cut the notch out and left the one side so I could blank off, you know, and cover up the holes. I did weld or grind the welds off on this face because there's going to be an electrical box that gets mounted to this, and I'm not sure if it's going to be flush or not, so I went ahead and ground those welds off. But as we know, this is going to get powder coated. So voila, we have the reason I haven't done the other part is I need to get a bigger piece of steel. I don't have a large enough piece, and that's the amount to make the mounting flange that bolts this assembly to the column of the machine. So once we get that, I'll get that machined and get it welded on here, and then we're ready for this part to be powder coated. All right, voila, we have the column plate was machined and then welded in place. So at this point it is ready to go. So we are ready to sandblast and powder coat this item. I'm probably going to powder coat a majority of these items. I have a close match to the paint, so we're going to give that a whirl, and first we'll get this all powder coated and then go from there. All right, powder coating. Voila, look at all those parts. They are done, and I'm getting ready to take them out. So when we get this all done, I'll come back out and I'll show you what they look like. All right, look at that. That is darn near a match with the powder. Looks really, really nice. So I'll show you some more here in a second. All right, here we are. We're on the bench. I got all the parts, they've cooled down, and I've removed the tape out of the things that needed to be taped off, etc. But for the most part, everything looks fabulous. I cannot complain. The color match is great. Thanks to Santa Cruz Electronics for sharing the paint code. That really helped. As you can see, you got the nice steel parts. They look really good. Even with the welds sanded off, it looks nice and clean. Like I said, there's going to be a box that gets mounted here. I've yet to get the box, so I'm hoping that the paint, if the paint doesn't match, I'll just sandblast the whole box and repowder coat it. But for the most part, everything looks awesome. So you can see, hopefully you can see some of the color to it. Everything looks really, really good. So anyways, at this point, we're ready to start assembling some things. I'm not sure I have all my hardware yet. Just note that, I'll have plans available for this entire kit or this items. You'll be able to purchase and download the plans. I'll give you a BOM, which will have all the materials as far as the hardware. Aluminums, I'll put it in there as far as thicknesses and stuff. But for our overseas fans, there's going to be metric. Even though I used all metric hardware where applicable, the only thing I didn't use American or I used Imperial hardware was for the air cylinder, because the threads was a 5/16 24, but that was the only part that got threaded with an Imperial thread. The rest of the hardware, it was designed as far as Imperial thicknesses, so common 1/8, quarter, 3/8, 5/16, all that kind of dimensional stuff is all is in the plans, but the physical threaded hardware is all metric. So anyways, I'm gonna kill this and then I'm gonna start putting things together. So we'll come back when we have a partial assembly of everything. All right, here it is in its glory. It's partially assembled. I still have to buy the steel and cut on my plasma cutter the enclosure parts so I can weld those together. I still need a bracket that holds the air cylinder to the slide assembly. Once I order that, then I can install the air cylinder. But I got the stepper motor in. I need some M6 set screws. I thought I had some, but I don't. But anyways, the drive assembly completely works at this point. So you can see, move this around. So we have rotation. You can see there's the proximity sensor mount. So in the plate, there's a hole right there. It is. So maybe you can see it. There's a bolt that's got to come through here, and then that passes for the proximity sensor to set that. Once the cover's made, and see I have thrust bearings inside here. The actual closure door is encapsulated by thrust bearings. So I just have this temporarily fixed on there, but for the most part it's all good. I still have to make the, hold on a minute, this thing's set. I still have to make the proximity. I have the sensor mount here, but I don't have the sensor in it yet. I still have to make the flag that goes out here to close that. You can see, and then I need some flat washers. I'm out of flat washers, so I haven't got this stuff very tight. So this allows the slide, this assembly, to go in and out for adjustment. This center bolt is for tilt this way because it's held. I haven't got the screws in it yet. So these are the fixing bolts. There's one on each side. So once you get it tilted, then you would tighten these two bolts and that locks it in. These need washers as well, and that allows the assembly to go in and out this way. And then on the actual flange mount, this one's a normal size slot and these are oversized slots, so that allows it to tilt this way. So we have that done. So this mounts to the column right here. So, and then instead of noted, I still have to get a box. I had ordered one, but it's far too big for the amount of electronics. So there'll be a box that gets mounted to here for the electronics. So if you had to service it, you could take your back panel off your enclosure and get to the electronics. It should be pretty simplistic. It's just going to be a stepper driver, a power supply, the interface board that I designed, and some air solenoids to work for the power drawbar, etc. I have some of these screws in already. I just don't have them all in because I'm going to take it apart, so I only put a couple of them in there. But for the most part, I think it looks fabulous. It looks awesome. I'm ecstatic on how it looks. The powder coat finish really was a nice touch. Once I get the enclosures made and get those powder coated, this thing's going to be really nice. And I'm considering getting some rail covers, but I don't know how that's going to affect the travel because I have this set to, there's minimalistic extra on here, so I don't want to, worry about not having enough travel, etc. But the rails, I bought oversized rails and I ended up having to cut them down to fit the panel, which was great. I mean, there's not much difference between a 300 to 350 to 400. You simply just cut the ends off with a grinding wheel, a cutting wheel on your grinder, and voila, it's done. It's too hard to cut with a bandsaw or something like that, but a grinder makes quick work of it. So anyways, that's the update for this, and we'll stay tuned. I'm going to probably wrap this episode up, and then we'll touch base back with once I get my box and start getting the electronics in it, etc. Please like and subscribe, and if you have any questions, this product is going to be, I'm going to offer the plans for this build. If you have an interest in it, drop a comment or go to the about section in my page and you can send me an email. So anyways, we'll see you on the next video.